We're here to discuss adjusting the 2021 school calendar. You're up.
All right. As President Jones just mentioned, the purpose of the meeting is tonight to possibly adjust the start of the school year. There are three options before you. One is keep the current schedule or calendar as it was approved back in May. Keep it the same, no adjustment. A second choice would be, or within a second choice of adjusting, one idea is to delay it by 1 week, which would be backing it up from the 19th to the 26th as a starting date. And a second adjustment, third choice rather, would be to adjust it back 2 weeks to September 2nd. Regardless, if an adjustment is made, we would also ask for the adjustment from September 21 is currently a professional learning day on the original calendar. We would ask that that be reverted or turned into an attendance day. So that would be a student attendance day. If nothing takes place, there's no changes whatsoever, you just leave that alone. But if we back it up a week or back it up 2 weeks, the partner part of that motion would be to also adjust September 21 to an attendance day. Okay? How we got here. As you recall, I'll give you some background information and then answer any questions you may have. Executive Order 2058 was issued by the governor to delay the start of the school year across the state of Kansas to after Labor Day. The way the law was written in the special session this last year, that came under the jurisdiction of the State Board of Education. The way the law was written, in order for that to occur, they had to affirm it. It wasn't affirm it or deny it. They had to affirm it in order for it to take place. The State Board of Education met earlier this week, and they had a 5-5 vote. So it did not get affirmed. So Executive Order 2058 went away. Okay? So that brings us back to, our choices. We can just leave it the same, leave it alone, or make some adjustments. As I see it, the reason we need to talk about this is there are a variety of variables that go into play given the scenarios or the situation facing us across the nation, but here in Kansas. And as I see it, what needs to be weighed in this, in your decision making, is weighing the impact of loss of instructional time, along with the potential hardship on parents, weighing that with the details of adjusting to a new changing landscape and to start school safely and to be as prepared instructionally as we can be. Now, there might be some other factors that you might have in your mind which need to be weighed. That's what keeps me awake, is weighing this, because all of this matters. All of it does. Using the guidance document that was produced by the KSDE, which is over 1,000 pages long, it details a variety of instructional practices, options, approaches, and then digs into the operations of the school. So taking that into account, we have areas of interest and areas we need to address within instruction, and then also the pragmatics, otherwise the operations of pulling off school and doing it safely, efficiently, and in a way that we maintain our social contract with society, that our kids get to school safely and we take care of them and they learn stuff and we get them home safely. Okay, I always go back to the social contract we have with our school. So we're moving along on this and thinking, it might be beneficial to back it up by a week, so we have just the time to help with the remote learning option that has been recommended by the by the Kansas State Department of Education, and we embrace it, and ensuring that the remote learning option is much more robust than what we had in the late spring of last year. I think we did as good a job as we could, thrown to us like that, and we've continued our work, but now it needs to be a much more robust approach, because we don't know how long it'll take. How long it might be in force. And also given the fact that given working with county health and the various criteria, if you will, we could be going in and out of remote learning opportunities throughout the year. We could be doing that. Tonight, we will be issuing a survey to our families, basically asking their level of interest, or if a family is planning on sending their kids to the brick and mortar, or if they're planning on keeping their kids at home in a remote learning setting. So just to get the sheer number. And once we get the sheer number, then we have a variety of options that we've been kicking around educationally to address those needs. And I'm talking about the volume of number of kids at what age level might be remote. Okay, so that's the grand scheme of things. We're moving forward, looking to build lessons and remote learning, whatnot, using the backbone of an electronic platform that we've used in the past, which is robust and it works very well. Well, of late, yesterday, we learned the pricing scheme has changed just a bit in that, which makes it far more difficult to bring on lock, stock, and barrel. So to the tune of $450,000. So there are other options within that which are far, far, far pared down. But if they're pared down, that means we have to up the game on our side. So it takes more preparation on our side regardless. So along with using professional learning time to help bolster our own efforts, we need the professional learning time to know how to better utilize that electronic platform. So the idea here, if a delay goes into place, what that time would be used for is professional learning. That's what it's for. That's what it's for. It's for the professional learning on the teacher side and on the pragmatic side of the various directors and the areas of the district with which they deal. How do we do the things that they have to get done? Just by piece of school business, making an adjustment like this up to 2 weeks will not have a negative impact rather, on our hours. We will meet the criteria by the state of Kansas because of the way they count professional learning. It counts as partial contact time is what it does. So on the educational side of it, and I have real concerns, I'm very concerned about the asking the teachers to do double duty of teach a classroom full of kids and some kids at home simultaneously. It was hard work anyway. It's hard work to teach anyway, but to do double duty. And so we're trying to figure out ways that would mitigate the potential compassion fatigue, which I think might occur with our professionals. So moving forward from there, we also have a thing called Executive Order 2059 in place as we speak. So a while back when the governor issued the 2 executive orders, one had to do with Labor Day. It's gone. And now the second one is still out there, still extant, and it deals with requiring anybody in the building to wear face masks, temperature checking, or face masks if we can't social distance, which is 6 feet apart, temperature checking of everybody who walks into the building, and hand washing throughout the day on an hourly basis. So that brings us over to pragmatics. Now, one of the frustrating things for me is there are a variety of legal opinions out there from various people in high positions as attorneys who say the executive order it's there, nobody can do anything about it. You have other people who say, no, the county has the right to overturn it. Absolutely. I believe with 105 counties, someone's going to challenge this and it'll go through the court system at some point. That's what it would take. That's what it would take to make the change. So once again, a time factor. So we don't want to be caught missing at the last second saying, oh, now we have to adjust again. Here are the pragmatics, and then you can ask all the questions you'd like, please. Just if we don't have masks on and we want to maintain a 6-foot distance, I've asked the principals, and they've done this for me. They've gone and physically measured the classrooms. And the high school, the classrooms themselves are built big enough. We could have upwards of 20, 25 kids per class. The others, not so. We're talking anywhere from 12 to 16 kids. Well, our classes are bigger than that. So with masks on, we can get more kids in there. But that comes back to, do we want to wear masks or not all day long? You're not deciding that tonight, but that plays into your decision making. It's a factor. I've asked the principals, and they'll do it. They're great group of people. Bring the options. I mean, it might be we're borrowing rooms from other entities, to send the 3rd grade. This room in which we're in right here, we could bring people in here. This could be a classroom. We're looking at all those options, but we'd have to just find, it just takes time to say this person goes there, that person goes there, and then the adults who go along with it. Not just sending the kids off, but what happens with the adults who are taking care of it. As soon as I talk about moving people around, that means transitions. And so we have to, we've got really good ideas on this. We've got all sorts of plans not ready to be published on how do we actually transition from point A to point B with our kids and keep everybody 6 feet apart. Do we just have one-way highways across our building? Maybe. We will have signage that reminds people to stay 6 feet apart. But it's just going to take time and effort to put it out there. We've already moved down the path of purchasing and bringing forward or asking someone to make these for us. So that's all good. It's coming. The cleaning schedules, because a whole piece of this is how do we go about ensuring the different spaces are clean. And we got on it early. We have a variety of cleaning supplies, foggers, you name it, but everything's on back order. We ordered early, ordered often, but it's on back order. And so like the foggers, which one of the plans for transportation is to fog the buses after every route, they won't get to us till late August. So we will have to come up with a plan B if the foggers just don't get to us. Along with that, of course, is we have to come up with the protocol. How often do you clean the room? Do you, every time we change the kids out? Maybe. That could be it. That's an idea. And then who physically is doing that? At the same time, it's not like we have a plethora of people coming here to work in certain positions in the district, so that gives us another opportunity to go find people. Food service. It's part of our social contract. We'll feed our kids, feed them a good, nutritious meal that allows them to be set up, takes care of the Maslow hierarchy of needs, of being able to function properly with a full belly. It's not as easy as falling off a log. Linda and her ladies do an excellent job, but we're talking about rolling several hundred kids through a lunchroom safely and efficiently and making sure they get their food on time. We've got some really good ideas in place. We're buying more scanners, buying more carts, so we'll be able to provide that hot lunch to people, but it's also breakfast. And we also have to think through how we go about doing breakfast. And it'll be the same, it's just a different time of the day. One last area, then I'll be ready for questions or comments or whatever. Technology. We have, way back in April, we moved forward to bring in our next round of Chromebooks. They're on back order. But along these lines, specifically, I've asked Randy to figure out for us the whole concept of what if someone is quarantined, yet they're not ill, they could teach from home and Zoom into the classroom. Okay, that's simple to say, but to throw the switch and make it happen is another thing. And one little piece of that nobody really thinks about is, well, we're not going to have a group of 16 kids sitting in a room without an adult. So we got to figure out the schedule. And so along those lines, using some of the special money that we've received, all districts received, but we received from the federal government through the state, the COVID money, I'll refer to it, we're looking to advertise for and bring on 4 homebound instructional liaisons who will help out in the food service area, in individual areas of supervision, if need be, but also to help with the sheer communication, ebb and flow from the families to the school. Because it's a different game. It just is. And also what's totally different from March, April, and May to today, to if we move to remote learning, is back then it was teach the kids, get them involved, good deal. Now the requirements are we have to have a daily attendance log that shows engagement for 360 minutes a day. We have to have a daily contact between our teacher and the family, and it has to be on the phone or in person. And this is the KSD regulations, so that the student who's doing remote learning counts in our full-time equivalent. If you recall, full-time equivalent refers to our budget. That's what funds us. Okay, so that's another thing we have to and we've got it figured out. We're moving there, but once again, it's going to take time to make sure we cross all the T's and dot all the I's. So those are the various levers that we're trying to pull, and so the idea is more time would help us with this, weighed against loss of instructional time and hardship on families. I have the principals here, I have a variety of directors here, and we stand for questions if you have any.
I got a chemical that you can do the buses once a week, that you can fog the buses, and it's good. It's good for 5 years, but you could go ahead and fog the buses one time a week. No, I know you can, but this chemical is good enough, you don't have to. You can fog it one time a week, and it's good for 7 years. But we don't like to say 7 years, but you can put it in there once a week, and it's good to go.
Our plan,
I understand what your plan was, do it morning, night. But this stuff, if you fog the bus one time a week, it's good. It's overzealous. You can do it one time, and it's good for a year. But it's a chemical that even, it's not going to be wiped off, it absorbs.
If you'd send me the information, Sean, I'd appreciate
I
it.
would get the information.
Thank
to
you.
I got a question for the principals.
Just a few comments and kind of as a point of order, maybe a motion to make there at the end there as well. But you know, I appreciate the comments you shared there, Dr. Myers. I would say, you know, first and foremost there that these are not decisions to take lightly. You know, working through this pandemic, being intentional in decision making is critical. And as much as this discussion's on reopening, it's also about being able to stay open. And from my standpoint, I say let's side with science and be intentional to provide the administration and the teachers with the opportunity to properly plan, get things implemented for a safe return. KSDE just came out this week and released a 1,000-page reopening guide. And while administration has worked through many of these things throughout the summer, I believe it's necessary to provide some further time to fully go through this document and provide faculty and administration with the time to implement and be trained fully on the changes that we face this academic year. Things are changing rapidly. Providing an extra 2-week period would support the administration in furthering preparing for a safe return and adhering to the health and safety requirements that are currently expected. I would support providing this time to further prepare for the intricacies and details that are necessary. And with many of the plans and protocols that have already been worked throughout this summer, Holcomb does have the proper contact time built in place there that allows for this delayed start. So I would make a motion that we support a 2-week delay start for this next academic year.
Okay.
Because I don't think they picked up. I don't know if they picked up on it.
This is Curtis Peterson. I'll second the motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve a 2-week period.
What about September 21st?
And so can we do that in a separate motion, or do we do?
Absolutely, yep, separate.
Okay. Been moved and seconded to push back our start date to September 2nd. With Dr. Ruda on the phone and the fact that we're doing this mobile, I guess you would say, I'm going to call for a roll call vote. So I'll call your name and you'll vote. So Ryan Ruda, how do you vote?
I'm sorry, we couldn't hear you.
Yes.
Okay. Jill George,
Yes.
Sean Sheets,
No.
Casey Robinson,
Yes.
Ryan Schreivogel. Yes. Curtis Peterson.
Yes.
Okay, so the motion passes 6-1. Okay, and now I need a motion, since we've approved that, we need a motion to change the date of September 21st from a personal learning day to a student contact day.
Attendance day, yes.
Attendance day.
Yes.
This is Jill George. I'll make that motion.
Okay.
This is Ryan Schreivogel. I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to change September 21st from a personal learning day to an attendance day. Ryan Ruda, how do you vote?
Yes.
Jill George?
Yes.
Sean Sheets?
Yes.
Casey Robinson?
Yes.
Ryan Schreivogel?
Yes.
Curtis Peterson?
Yes.
Okay, 7-0. Do we have any further? Okay, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion. This is Ryan Schreivogel.
Jill George seconds it.
Okay, been moved and seconded to adjourn. Do I have to do a roll call on that too?
Yes, he's still on the phone.
Okay. Ryan, it's been moved and seconded to adjourn. Ryan Ruda, how do you vote?
Yes.
Jill George?
Yes.
Sean Sheets?
Yes.
Casey Robinson?
Yes.
Ryan Schreivogel?
Yes.
Curtis Peterson?
Yes.
We are adjourned.
Thank you, Ryan. I'm disconnecting.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you.